As the mutant community continues to feel the shocking effects of Charles Xavier's betrayal, who amongst them will rise to the challenge and accept the uncomfortable task of hunting down their former teacher? Well, let's hop into the pages of X-Men issue number 34 and find out together, shall we? So then, as we join the issue, the X-Men rebels are continuing their hard work of mopping up Orchis' command structure. And wouldn't you know, when everything was said and done, one of the last non-AI beings left standing was actually MODOK, who is now taking the opportunity to really begin to mess with all the regular humans left over in Orchis' employ. I mean, hey, who are they gonna run and complain to, right? Apparently MODOK had always planned to mess with their DNA and turn them into monsters at the flip of a switch. Because, I mean, hey, it's not like Nimrod or Omega Sentinel ever planned for these guys ever to join them in their glorious Dominion future, right? In fact, the message is really starting to get out now to the rank-and-file goon squads just how truly screwed the human members of Orchis are, so much to the point a bunch of ragtaggers take Phil Urich and the Daily Bugle hostage in hopes that they can threaten the newsman into writing a retraction about all the horrible, evil, xenophobic, terrorist actions they were taking part in. However, in this situation, jail time or maybe even death by mutant might just happen to be the best scenario, as these poor schmucks also end up getting turned into MODOK monsters. Luckily, the likes of Laura Wolverine and Miss Marvel are in the neighborhood to try and help defend innocent people from this brand new onslaught of people looking to eat them. Hell, listening to some of the background characters who are actually pro-Orchis, seeing these people turn into monsters in front of their very eyes and try to kill them is actually enough to have them reverse their stances on the whole mutant rights issue, and I mean, hey, at least it happened at some point. Now that's not all. Elsewhere in the city, we see Shadowcat Kate Pryde break into an Orchis facility to try and save a mutant they were experimenting on. Turns out it's none other than Caliban. He went missing during that last Hellfire Gala, meaning he basically knows nothing of what's been going on in the last little bit, but Kitty's found him now because she wants to use his abilities to track people to find Xavier wherever he might be hiding. Oh, not to talk sense into him or anything, not to try and get him back from the machines. Oh no, Shadowcat wants to kill him. But more on that later. As we transition on back to MODOK, he's trying to make his escape in a tugboat when he ends up getting caught by a very vengeful Firestar and the others. They let the mechanized organism designed only for killing have it with both barrels, and despite him being incredibly powerful and even able to heal from some truly grievous injuries, the mutants aren't letting him slip through their fingers this day. In fact, Laura even says that MODOK's never fought enemies like the X-Men before, and that years of fighting the Avengers have actively made him soft. It's at that moment Synch summons up the power of Polaris to fire Laura like a freaking adamantium bullet, completely bisecting MODOK. Don't worry, Miss Marvel's there too to karate chop him after he's already dead, because, you know, gotta keep things nice and light. And hey, speaking of Synch and he actually gets a really great moment of characterization here too as he talks things out with Laura. The former X-23 admits that this is all probably really hard and really confusing for Synch, as he had fallen in love with an older version of her that's not around anymore, but Synch admits that he thinks he's finally in a good place right now. He's decided instead of giving in to despair and mourning his Laura, he's going to do everything in his power to try and make himself worthy of both of her sacrifices, first in the vault and now out here. It's a small moment, but I'm really glad it's in here because the whole Synch Talon storyline was such a big, important focus of this series in the beginning, and it's nice to know they didn't let it fall by the wayside and they actually put a nice bow on the whole thing. Oh, but the characterization train doesn't stop there either, as we check back on in with Caliban and Shadowcat. Kitty is all pissed off because Caliban has been leading her around in circles. You see, Caliban doesn't want to be an accessory to Charles Xavier's murder. Again, he was locked up during the worst of all this Orchis stuff. And even if he wasn't, he doesn't believe that people like Xavier, even traitors, deserve to be killed in cold blood. This actually gives Kitty some major pause, as she slowly but surely begins to wonder if she's actually been the problem this whole time. She took to killing so easily after the Hellfire Gala. And maybe at the end of the day it means that not just Xavier lost his way, maybe everyone lost their way. Luckily, Wolverine was standing by in this rain-slick Tokyo street, and he's here to give Kate all of the benefits of his many years of experience. Logan talks about how Xavier lost his dream and how that must have been so truly devastating for him. Hell, Wolverine's happy that he doesn't remember much of his life, all the loves and battles lost, because if he did, it might have made him him an even more morose person than he already is. He says that Kitty also shouldn't keep beating herself up, that she's too young for this many regrets. Hey, that's what your latter years are for. She was in a life or death situation and simply just fell back on her training. If that means when this is all said and done, she doesn't want to be a regular old X-Men anymore, Wolverine will support her. And as far as dealing with Charles goes, Wolverine decides to take that particular weight off Shadowcat's shoulder, saying that if anyone is gonna hunt Professor X down and end him for his betrayal, it's going to be the old Knucklehead. And so that was X-Men issue number 34, everybody, and I gotta say, this issue actually really energized me in a way the last several issues I've covered on the channel really haven't, mainly because this one just felt like a normal issue. You know, one pre-House of and Powers of. One that actually puts the whole apocalyptic world-ending stuff on the back burner and instead decides to actually focus on smaller, more personal, more character-driven stories, which is the thing that has always brought me back. I'm glad Duggan got the chance to wrap up Sync's story. That was clearly very important to him. I'm glad that Ben Urich got a chance to come back too. Again, he was a major focus of this run when he started, and I was sad to see him go. But by far, though, I think the biggest ramifications of this issue actually involve Kate Pryde, as we see her basically turn her back on killing and drop the Shadowcat persona once again. In fact, this all seems perfectly almost tailor-made to help tee up Kitty's brand new status quo that we're going to be seeing an exceptional X-Men from Eval Ewing once From Ashes starts. Overall, I think I'd actually feel comfortable giving this one a 7.5 out of 10. This is the kind of energy that I've sorely been missing from these X-Men books, and it's a feeling I hope they can recapture moving forward. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, you know, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.